there's no question that during this time of year, the tail wags the dog season, individual stocks are going to have outsized impact on sectors and indices. And so when I take a look at what's coming up after the bell, and I'm talking about today, Tuesday, the 25th, take a look. We've got after the bell, CB, that lands us in the XLF. Google, XLC. Microsoft, XLK, right? SMH. Visa, XLF. All right. XLF is going to map to the S&P and the Dow. Microsoft, that's going to map to the NASDAQ, of course, and the most important sector out there because it has such significant weighting across NAS, S&P, and Dow, right? So I would say Microsoft is a hugie, right? Google, really important. I don't want to play these. The whole idea is after the dust settles. And to me, after is going to be about 1 to 2 sessions. So the soonest that I'm even interested in looking at, say, Google or Microsoft is maybe tomorrow or Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, after the dust settles. A lot of traders are very interested in playing the very binary, does it go higher or lower? What I'm going to tell everyone, and if you've checked out the update over at countdowntrader.com, I love that Trish has posted this here. All right, if you go to countdowntrader.com, check out this right here. And I talk about if earnings for Google are coming out today, I start looking not April 25th, I start looking March 25th. Frankly, we can even start looking 2 weeks before that, around March 11. This is where the conversation starts. Not today, not 24 hours, not 1 week before the release, 6 weeks before the release, 4 weeks before the release, right? So you can check that out here at the 642. And 642 talks about how many weeks before earnings am I really interested in a specific stock. Not that binary, let's play the big move. I find that to be very low probability and an outsized risk that I personally don't want to take. Okay. Jumping into Google. So first of all, aside from the volatility of earnings, I think it's really important to mention that Google is one of the more bullish parts of the NASDAQ and frankly the S&P. Yes? Bring back the, there we go. All right, here we go. Let's bring back the list here. What I want to do, I want to focus on the zones that would be interesting for us. Here. Why? Even though, again, I'm not interested in the earnings, I'm interested in 1 to 2 sessions after earnings. If price lands us in this area come Wednesday or Thursday, our daily price movement range, our 200 exponential. Number one, if we move lower, this is going to drag XLC lower. This is going to also drag the NAS lower. And there might be separate setups to be found here. But it's going to be caused by the volatility of a high concentration weighted stock. Tail wags the dog season. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do the same thing with Microsoft. Once again, we know what we're looking at it. If I were to compare the Microsoft structure to Google, Google actually wins out. Although, if you look at this uptrend that preceded the chop, it's hard to be bearish Microsoft, but it doesn't mean that I'm bullish from here. No, it means that if earnings give us the opportunity for this area here, or this. Now, let me do this as well. I'm going to squeeze in 2023. There we go. So I've got all of 2023, and I was curious where the point of control was going to be. So point of control is way up there. Okay, not that helpful. 200 propulsion, daily price movement range. Does earnings do earnings drive us down to either one of those that we could take advantage of tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning. That's the way that I look at earnings. And then also, if Microsoft does end up as dramatically lower as 262 or in the area of 273 to 270, we know again, two names are going to go down with it. And there might be separate opportunities there. NASDAQ futures, QQQ ETF, and the XLK. By the way, if Microsoft sells off like that, heads up, because Apple might go with it. And the interesting buy might actually be, right, after doing all that, the interesting buy might actually be Apple. Apple's earnings are not coming out till May 4, the day after FOMC. Okay, here's my volume ledge. Here's my daily price movement range. So if we get that move lower in NAS, XLK, Microsoft, keep an eye on Apple. And that's the way I start to connect the dots during earnings season, looking at the market from that index, sector, stock approach, right? We're looking at the connective threads of a single stock. We go index, we go sector, we go stock. That's exactly how I've been teaching y'all to do this for a long time. And what this allows us to do is see what the tide, either at the index level or the sector level, is doing as we are in tail wags the dog season. Because normally the stock is going to be the last consideration. It's going to be the last place all this lands. During earnings season, this is where it starts. That's the pebble that gets dropped into the pond and those ripples go sort of 360. So these are things that are going to be interesting. Apple actually might end up on the radar with Microsoft. And that's how the dust, for me, is going to settle. Hey traders, Raghi from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.